First, the $20,000 weapon that just tanked the stock market.
Then McDonald's biggest burger ever might repeat its biggest failure ever.
And the newest AI millionaires just graduated from high school.
High school!
Let's hit the story.
This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Wednesday, Ceviche Wednesday, March 4th, and today's pod is the best one yet. This is a T-Boy.
The top 3 pop business news stories you need to know today.
For our first story, investors just got signals yesterday that the war in Iran could last a long time. And you know what? They didn't like it.
Because Iran's low-cost drones are weapons of mass extension.
Weapons of mass extension. Now, Yetis, on Monday, honestly, Jack and I were checking the markets and we're kind of surprised by what we saw, right, Jack?
Stocks ended the day slightly higher on Monday, the first day of trading after the war in Iran began.
Yeah, some might have called this buying the war dip, BWD.
But on Tuesday, reality settled in that this is not going to be a weekend-long war. So stocks opened down by 2% on Tuesday morning.
In part because President Trump said he will do whatever it takes to win in Iran, adding that wars can be fought forever. That's a direct quote.
Plus, you got mixed messages on the goal of this war from different parts of the administration.
So investors are thinking, we may have to settle in for this one.
But another reason that this war might last longer than expected is what Nick and I are calling Iran's weapons of mass extension.
Weapons of mass extension. Besties, we're talking about Iran's $20,000 drones that require $4 million of missiles for us to shoot down.
It's weaponized financial asymmetry.
Yes, it is. And these are not the drones we were talking about at the Winter Olympics.
Yetis, you've probably seen videos of Iran's retaliation. You've actually heard these drones in those videos.
Exactly. What you've heard is the loud, buzzing, triangle-shaped kamikaze drones flying through the air, even over Dubai.
It's called the Shahed 136, and they are one-way drones designed to crash into things for maximum damage.
The price of these puppies, well, they're going to cost you just $20,000 to make.
And Iran's been making them in mass production.
Basically, they're Iran's Model T, but for munitions.
They're not particularly fast or nimble drones, so they're easily shot down. We have a 90% interception rate of these drones.
But the way Jack and I think of it, these drones are less hawks and eagles, but they're more like flies and mosquitoes.
You can kill them because they're not that quick, but when they bite you, they hurt.
Oh my God, yes they do.
But Nick, our fly swatter in this analogy, it's the Patriot missile that we use to shoot them down.
And Jack, what does that cost us?
$4 million each.
That's right, besties. Neutralizing Iran's tiny weapon costs us 200 times more than it costs them.
Now, we should clarify, there are more effective anti-drone defense systems out there, but none in this region of the Middle East.
So, Tehran has launched 1,200 of these drones in just 3 days, and we've shot 1,200 Patriot missiles just to intercept them.
Our bill is much bigger than their bill.
And whoever runs out first, that's the side that's going to be the most vulnerable.
Yetis, we've been so worried about weapons of mass destructions when it comes to Iran, understandably.
Okay, but Jack, these $20,000 drones, they can blow a $4 million hole in the U.S. war budget like that.
That is financial asymmetry. And this kind of warfare is a big reason that Ukraine has lasted as long as it has against much bigger Russia.
Bringing us full circle, that's why we call them weapons of mass extension. So Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies wondering about the end of an Iran war?
What's most likely to end the Iran war? It might be stock markets.
Now, Yetis, we have seen this before. Stock markets dip after a brand new Trump policy.
And once stocks have fallen far enough and Trump can't tolerate it anymore, he reverses that policy.
Think of the stories we've covered together. The Phase 1 China deal in his first term, reversing the Liberation Day tariffs, the framework for a future deal on Greenland.
In each of those cases, it was Trump reversing his policy because stocks had fallen too much.
As Wall Street puts it, it's the Trump put. And Wall Street now trades on it.
It's a cousin of the taco trade that Trump always chickens out.
Well, if things go badly in this war, oil could keep spiking and stocks could keep on falling.
So the Trump put, it could be the president simply pulling out of Iran and touting his killing of the Ayatollah as a victory.
The only question that remains, besties, though, is reversing a war as easy as reversing a tariff. For our second story, McDonald's newest burger is so big, their CEO is embarrassed to eat it.
He just doesn't know how to eat it.
I know, honestly, I feel bad for the guy. I love the guy.
They didn't teach him in business school. But we've actually seen the McDonald's Big Arch Burger before from a business school case study on catastrophe.
Oh, So, Yetis, millennials, we say the word awkward.
Gen Z used the word cringe.
But you can use both of those words for the latest video from the official McDonald's Instagram account.
Because in it, Chris Kemzensky, the svelte little V-neck sweater-loving CEO, tries to bite into McDonald's new burger, which has 1,020 calories. It's so big.
Honestly, he strikes me as more of a soup guy, Jack. You know, I love the sweater, but it's giving kale. It's definitely giving kale.
First of all, when he introduced the Big Arch Burger, he called it a product, not a burger.
That's your first problem right there. I got to stop you.
Then he promised that he's really going to eat this thing for lunch. For real.
Yeah.
It's like no one's saying you're not.
Don't protest too much. We hope you eat it for lunch, buddy. You need more meat on those bones.
But it got worse. He didn't know how to hold it. He didn't know there were onions in it. And then he took the tiniest little bite as his taste test.
Besties, this CEO taste test video has gone viral because it looks like a hostage situation.
The marketing team was holding his family hostage with a ransom demand that he eats this thing on air.
Now, besties, this is probably not the reason why McDonald's stock fell by 2% yesterday.
Although it does appear that McDonald's kale-loving CEO has a psychological fear for the company's own food.
I'm sorry, Jack. I think you mean the word product. That's product.
Don't call your food product, and don't call the people who eat it users.
Stick that on an apron, Jack. But Yetis, let's not rough up Ronald McDonald too hard over it.
Although that was a lot of fun, Nick.
I had a good time too. Chris, we would love to have you on the show. We're fans. Because McDonald's business, it's actually all up and it is all to the right, baby.
Remember 3 years ago, the $20 Big Mac? McDonald's was getting a lot of hate during hot inflation summer.
Exactly, Jack. But then McDonald's did a value menu pivot. They spent the next 3 years apologizing, cutting prices, and getting some high visibility promotions out there.
And it worked. McDonald's stock rose in 2023, 24, 25. It was at an all-time high until last week.
You see, as burrito bowl prices were popping, McDonald's nugs, they were a dropping, baby.
So for McDonald's management, they were probably thinking mission accomplished.
Yeah.
We didn't just survive inflation, we thrived. Our stock's at an all-time high.
Sweet Green's loss, Mickey D's gains. And that is why Ronald now has the McConfidence to go back on the offense and dip into the protein maxing trend.
Hence the Arch Burger. It's huge. Nick, the burger alone is $12 here in Vermont and $17 if you add soda and fries.
Jack, could you sprinkle on some more nutritional context, please?
1,020 calories is the burger alone. 65 grams of fat and 53 grams of protein.
I'm going to need more context, please.
That's twice as much fat and protein as the Big Mac, which was, I thought, their biggest thing.
Jack, that is more fat and protein than in a pony.
So the Big Arch Burger, it's David Bar for people who don't actually work out.
Now, besties, this Big Arch Burger is the biggest burger in McDonald's history based on all that data.
But it reminds us of the biggest failure in McDonald's history.
Oh, Chris, cough twice if you need our help.
Oh, he coughed in that video.
Yeah, he was crying coconut water tears, Jack. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at McDonald's?
The Big Arch is already a case study in catastrophe.
Yetis, wild story here. This Big Arch Burger is eerily similar to a McTastrophe from 30 years ago taught in business schools today. We're talking about the Arch Deluxe Burger.
In 1996, McDonald's introduced the Arch Deluxe. It was marketed as having grown-up taste, and it was the product of years of culinary research.
It was 40 years ago. They did a $150 million ad campaign that featured kids getting grossed out because the burger was too sophisticated for children.
I guess they were targeting adults, but it became the first McFlop. Nobody bought the burger. In fact, it alienated people.
That's right. That original super burger was just too expensive, too many calories, and calling it sophisticated just insulted regular McDonald's customers.
It's also a bad idea to show crying kids when you're targeting families to come into your store.
Doesn't work.
And yet here we are, 30 years later, and McDonald's is introducing a similar burger with a similar name.
The 1996 Arch Deluxe and the 2026 Big Arch both dwarf the Big Mac in price and calories.
Sure, business is all about timing. Maybe 1996 was just the wrong time, and 2026 is the right time.
All right, Jack, it's a fair point, but investors seem skeptical. The stock of McD's, it's down since that Big Arch announcement.
Because we've seen the Big Arch Burger before. This is a case study in catastrophe.
No, Jack. This product is a case study in catastrophe.
Now, a quick word from our sponsor.
For our third and final story, this one's wild. The latest AI business to be acquired, it's called Cal AI, the calorie counting app making $30 million a year in revenue.
Here's how a group of high school students
High schoolers
built an AI app that just got acquired by private equity.
Now, Yetis, we'd like to introduce you to a guy named Zach Yadagari. Last year, this 17-year-old senior applied to 15 top colleges, but you know what? He hardly got into any of them.
I mean, you only have to get into one.
It's a fair point.
But still, this Long Islander from Roslyn had a 4.0 GPA. We don't know his SATs.
We don't.
But we know his extracurriculars were impressive.
Yes, we do, because the summer before senior year, Zach launched a startup. Cal AI, as in Calorie AI, a food tracking app.
You take a photo of what you're eating and the AI estimates how many calories are in there.
They got a database of 20 million things that you eat.
An avocado, 235 calories.
Turkey sandwich from Lenny's, that's 763 calories.
That big slice of Gruyere the size of your fist?
Oh, baby.
More calories than the Big Arch Burger, Nick.
Yeah, it's like 1,108 calories. You see, besties, calorie tracking apps have existed before, but they all required you to type every item that you're eating.
It's a pain. Friction is the enemy. So Zach used AI to digest the image and spit out the number so you don't have to type it.
Which reminds us of rule number 303 from T-Boy Business School. If you can let people be lazier, you are solving a market problem.
And it could lead to millions for you.
Now, the co-founders of this app got into the University of Miami, and they've continued scaling the business from there through a whole bunch of Facebook ads.
Boom. 15 million downloads later, they have $30 million in revenue last year as people are paying the $30 a year subscription.
We repeat, $30 million in revenue. Sit down, stand up, and class dismissed over there.
But here's the news. Cal AI just got acquired by its bigger rival, MyFitnessPal.
MyFitnessPal, which owns My Run, Map My Ride. It used to be owned by Under Armour. Now they're owned by private equity.
And they saw that Cal AI was climbing up the App Store rankings to hit number 5 in the health category. It was neck and neck with MyFitnessPal.
So they bought their competition. But Jack, I'm sorry, pause the pod. Can we talk about the bigger news here?
Did you say High School Musical?
No, but I like where you're going, Jack.
Sorry, High School Millionaires.
High School Millionaires. Because besties, Cal AI is one of the youngest exits we have ever seen.
One of the founders is so young, his LinkedIn title simply says 18 years old.
Okay, the other founder is so young, he posted on LinkedIn that his 18-year-old bank account had just $9 in it, just allowance money before this deal.
And now they're probably worth millions.
This is a 1.5-year-old business doing $30 million a year, built by teenagers.
Wild detail, the Cal AI team does their weekly stand-up meetings on Sunday night.
Not because they're hardcore, though. It's because of homework.
Sunday was the only time they weren't in class or like band practice.
Yeah, or lax practice, most likely with those Roslyn guys. Here's the key, Yetis. These guys understood the attention economy. Savvy marketing helped them get downloaded more than the competition, which was offering the same service.
It's unclear now if they'll remain enrolled at the University of Miami now that they've sold their company.
I'm just assuming one of them asked Giselle to prom after this deal. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Cal AI?
The newest flex in VC is small.
Yetis, funny thing Jack and I noticed. For years, the biggest flex in Silicon Valley was how big you were, the size of your team.
Founders bragged about their huge hiring numbers because that signaled a healthy business and healthy fundraising.
But lately, we're noticing the opposite. We're noticing founders brag about how small they are.
Because that signals their cutting-edge use of AI, which is more impressive in this market.
Now, besties, these 4 co-founders didn't vibe code Cal AI alone, but impressively, just 3 other employees were employed by them, plus a few contractors.
And they did it all before social studies class, after homeroom, and mid hallway makeout while they're like, get to class. It's 3:05.
Stick it in the yearbook. Yeah, these high schoolers just created an app that now earns $5 million per an employee. And this big exit reveals that tiny is now mighty.
In Silicon Valley, the big new flex is small.
Jack, could you whip up the takeaways for us for Ceviche Wednesday?
Iran's $20,000 drones cost us $4 million each to shoot down. They're weapons of mass extension.
So what could end the Iran war? The stock market. That would be another Trump put, another taco trade.
For our second story, McDonald's is protein maxing. It launched the biggest burger ever. It's twice the size of the Big Mac in both calories and price.
But it's also a copy-paste of McDonald's 1996 marketing catastrophe.
And our third and final story is Cal AI. It's the latest AI company to get acquired, and it was founded by high schoolers.
Because the big flex in venture right now isn't big head counts, it's small.
But Yetis, this pod's not over yet. Here's what else you need to know today.
First, a wild new product, a smart glasses siren. That's right, a warning app about smart glasses.
It's like a radar.
It is.
The new app is going viral because it alerts you if someone nearby is wearing smart glasses.
It's called Nearby Glasses. The story was just covered by TechCrunch.
Because if somebody's wearing Meta Ray-Bans, they could be recording you with video and you don't even know it.
But this app sends you a notification if they are.
And second, yesterday we did a story on the big beef between Anthropic and the U.S. Department of Defense.
And Jack and I told you how OpenAI swooped in after the Pentagon blacklisted Anthropic.
Well, get this. New data says that ChatGPT uninstalls jumped by 295% after they signed that deal with the Pentagon.
Wow, that is a 4x pop in unsubscribes of ChatGPT.
Yesterday, we asked you for your comments. Can ethics be a competitive advantage? Can morals be a moat? Well, the early download data suggests yes.
People are picking their AI principles. And finally, we got an update for the Yetis on vacay right now. The Vatican, they're closing parts of the Sistine Chapel for cleaning your sweat.
Apparently, our perspiration floats upward. Right, Nick? Isn't that the story here?
Yeah, I'm not a geologist, Jack, but Michelangelo's fresco masterpiece will be saved. However, salty air does drift up when you're walking through the Sistine Chapel.
It's a good thing our armpits are facing downward, not upward.
Oh, no, that saved a lot of art, Jack. That has saved a lot of art from our Schwitzen. Now, time for the best fact yet. This one sent in by legendary Yeti Dylan Steinfeld from lovely Atlanta, Georgia.
Push and play.
Here we go, Jack.
Nick and Jack, I went to Pittsburgh recently, and while you might know it as the Steel City or the City of Bridges, the locals told me I had to visit the National Aviary or the Bird Zoo. I went and I was blown away. A few things you should know. It has over 500 animals. It's the largest indoor aviary in the U.S. In 1993, it was awarded national status by Congress, and it remains the only official national aviary in the U.S. Next time you're in Pittsburgh, make sure to pay a visit.
Is there any higher compliment than a Yeti visiting another city and then sending us an audio best fact yet about something they learned while they're traveling?
Great law passed by Congress to make this our official national aviary. Also, Pittsburgh, if we do a live tour next year, when we do a live tour next year, should we go to Pittsburgh?
Absolutely should be on the agenda, Jack.
We'll make a stop at this aviary.
Drop a comment if you know the venue. Yetis, you are looking fantastic today. Jack, you are glowing, but we have one request. If you are loving our product, if you are loving this podcast product, we would love a 5-star rating and review. We love reading all of them, and they help us grow the show. They help us grow in the rankings.
We're talking to you, users.
Yes, we are users. If users enjoy the product, then a 5-star rating helps grow that product.
I'm actually going to listen to this episode. I really am, right now.
Celebrate the wins, and Jack and I will see you tomorrow. And before we go, a special shout out to Yeti Joe Gorowski, who, this isn't a birthday, this is a kidney-versary.
Because 15 years ago, he donated his kidney to his dad in Chicago.
Joe, great guy. And a happy 40th birthday to Yeti Danis Binai over in New York City, also celebrating the launch of their new business, Lemon Health AI, a startup for longevity.
Happy 30th birthday to Derek Liu in San Francisco.
And Prutha Patel, happy 31st birthday down in Canton, Ohio.
Happy birthday to Advita Karthikeyan in Kirkland, Washington.
And Jasenia Vasquez, happy 33rd birthday over in Queens.
Happy birthday to Coco Flageolet, the Frenchman living in the Presidio of San Francisco.
Not possible. And Ramya, the Yeti I just ran into on my way to the studio in San Francisco. Great to meet you. Thanks so much for being a bestie.
Happy 31-year wedding anniversary to Joe and Brenda Mulero in Lugoff, South Carolina.
Not too shabby. And Miranda is the co-worker of Lily Gavazov, who correctly guessed our T-Boy trivia about Netflix on yesterday's pod.
The Blind Side. Not Finding Nemo.
And a special shout out to all the Paralympians competing in the Games in Milan. The Paralympics just began.
And to anyone else celebrating something today, make it a T-Boy.
Celebrate products.
This is Jack. Nick and I both own stock of Spotify.
This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It is Wednesday, Ceviche Wednesday, November,
March 4th.
February. Honestly, I was on the diving board. My head was already over. All right, Jack, 1 sec. Here we go. 3, 2.